You just graduated from HVAC trade school. What do you do next? In today's video, I'm going to go over what you should be doing, and I'm going to give you my experience also. You're watching HVAC Tips for Technicians. This is Taddy Digest. I'm Tad. Let's get started. Congratulations. You graduated. Now you're ready to do what? You're ready to work. What do you really need, though? You really need experience. Experience is the best teacher, right? You probably went through school and you got your certifications like your EPA, maybe your NATE. So now you can handle refrigerant and you got this certification that represents excellence, right? So you got your certifications and then you probably collected some tools because, well, you can't go through trade school with some hands-on training without having some tools. So you probably have some tools. You may not have your larger tools like your vacuum pumps or your torches or maybe your nitrogen regulator or your recovery machine, recovery tank, but you probably got some hand tools in a bag. You probably got some gauges, right? Maybe even a meter. You definitely need that. And you'll collect those tools as you go. But right now, you really need experience. You really need to work because working for a company or for yourself for a day is going to teach you more than what you learn maybe in a month at HVAC trade school, especially if you weren't hands-on. So where do we go to work after HVAC trade school? How do we get there? Where do we find that good company to work for? And if we want to start our own business, I got a video on that. So I'll put the link down there in the description. Go click that link if you're thinking about starting your business. For me, if you just graduated, you need at least 5 years to be considered a good technician. And then after 10 years, you really have this great experience and you can figure out what to do next, whether it's your company or whether it's, changing directions with your career. So how do we find that company that's a good company to work for without having to go through all the bad experiences with all the bad companies, right? How do we get that job? So you've probably got friends, you've probably got family. Maybe you go to church. Maybe you have some group organization that you're taking part in once a week or once a month. Maybe it's baseball, softball, I don't know. But you have these friends or family that you could possibly ask, hey, who does your service for your heating and cooling at your home? Who services your air conditioner or your furnace? And are they good? Do they do a good job? How long they've been doing it? And do you like them? And that's how I would get the referral. Go to your local restaurant. Ask them, hey, who's servicing? Who's doing your maintenance? At your church, who's doing your service? Who's doing your maintenance? Are they really expensive? Are they really nice? Are they respectful? Are they clean? Those are the things you need to be when you start working for somebody. Clean, show up on time, respectful. But this is a way for you to find that referral for that company that's really good. So we can also, at that restaurant, we can ask, hey, who's doing your maintenance? They may say no one. This is a great opportunity for you to volunteer. Hey, I'd love to do your maintenance. I'll do it for free the first time. That's a great way to get your foot in the door, offering to volunteer for free. That way you learn, hey, this is how this equipment's built. These are what the components look like. And then when you maintenance something, you fix something before it causes a breakdown. So then you understand that, right? The cause. Maybe not the effect, but the cause. There's always cause and effect. That fan motor's not working. Well, the cause is the capacitor. So then you get your foot in the door with that restaurant doing their maintenance, or that church, or maybe it's your family or your friend. Hey, do you have anybody? And if they do, are they doing a good job? Maybe they say no, they're not doing a good job. Well, hey, I actually just graduated and I know how to maintain or service your air conditioner. Maybe you don't. That's not a good way to get your foot in the door, saying you don't. You need to say you do, right? The first thing that comes first, right, is willingness. Then second comes skills. But from willingness, you were willing to work on it. You worked on it, you got the skills. Number 3 is opportunity, right? But you couldn't get the opportunity unless you got the skills from being willing, okay? Willing, skill, opportunity. Now, if you find that referral for that company that you think you want to work for, when you go for the interview, you say, I'm just looking to help people, and I know that I can help them through servicing an air conditioner. I know that when it's 100 degrees outside, then there are elderly people that need someone to be able to take care of them and be able to maintain their equipment. And I know that it matters. And That's a way that you can sound like you really want to just help and you're willing to, do the job. And that's something that's going to probably be able to get your foot in the door, right? You understand that this is going to help somebody. And then say that you're willing to be an installer. You just got out of school to be a technician, but you know what? I want to learn everything. I don't want to just learn how to service or troubleshoot. I want to learn how to install. And that's going to help you to be more well-rounded in this industry, in the HVAC industry. When I started as a sheet metal worker, right? 20 years ago, I was starting in the crawl spaces, in the attics, new construction, and I was putting together duct, right? Running pipe. And that's where I started. And then after I did that for, I think, 3 to 4 years, then I went to trade school and I went for 18 months. Some courses are 12 months, 18 months, 2 years. And trade school is great just for the foundation, just for the basics. But for really understanding what this industry is about and how to actually perform, you need to be in the field. That's where you really learn. It takes 2 years to really grasp it. 5 years to be called a good technician. And that's if you're really running, right? You're doing at least 5 calls a day, maybe 10 calls a day during the week. Then after 10 years, then you can go, I want to start my own business. But you got to get your foot in the door. And asking around and being willing, that's going to get your foot in the door. In high school, I don't think I even cared if I looked stupid, right? But when I graduated HVAC trade school and I started working and started installing equipment, and then equipment design started changing and technology was increasing, inverter tech, smart thermostats, I didn't want to look stupid. So I started reading. And there's a bunch of websites that manufacturers have, and they have all the technical documents and they have the installation manuals. And you should start reading those manuals. And if you have a chance to work with the equipment, start taking it apart and looking at how they design everything, how they wire it, get really good at looking at diagrams and maybe just going through and checking with your meter. Read. I remember driving to jobs with the thermostat manual in my hand or the manual for the outdoor or the indoor unit. And there's a problem with the unit and I'm on my way and I have no clue what to do, but I am reading on how to do this, how to install this, or how to wire this, so that when I get there, I get out of the car and I know exactly what I'm doing because I just didn't want to look stupid. Reading is the key. Knowledge is the key. Knowing that you don't know anything like me. I've been doing this 20 years now and I don't know anything. I know 1%. And I know that I'm going to learn as I go. And that's what matters. When I hire a technician, I really just care about the fact that they're honest. Like, I want somebody with experience, but I don't want somebody who is mean, right? It's going to be mean to the customers. I've had that before. Had somebody who wasn't honest, right? I want somebody who's honest, and that matters more to me than somebody who has maybe 5 years worth of skills, but just is unwilling to maybe open up to learn a new way of doing things. So to me, it's about honesty. And for you starting out, working for a big corporation, you're going to be a number. Working for a small family business, somebody that is personable, that's where I think you need to go. And then maybe you can move from residential up to commercial, maybe commercial, industrial. Starting with residential, I think, is the best option. But maybe commercial is what you really want. So you want to go into chillers or boilers. For me, it's residential. It's heat pumps, it's gas, furnace or package units, and straight air. So that's where I would start. When I first started, I didn't have a mentor. I had nobody to help me. So I just mistaked my way through everything. I remember burning up fan motors and, leaving an outlet screw loose on a gas valve and blowing the package unit's doors off of it when it lit up. And having a mentor is something that would be great, right? You have somebody that puts you underneath their wing. They've been doing this for 20 years and they can steer you in the right direction. Is that the best thing for you? I mean, it would be the safer, right? The safer of the two, because then you wouldn't make as many mistakes. And when I hire somebody and they don't have any experience, like the last person I hired that's been working with me about 2 years now, straight from school. I've hired a lot of people straight from school and just taught them. And I feel like that's the best option. But do they cost me money? Oh yeah, they cost me money. I had a previous employee that cost me around $10,000, and it didn't work out. And they went on their way, right? I just couldn't continue with them because they weren't getting the picture. A really good worker, a really good technician is somebody who cares. They care so much that whenever the doors close, right, and they go home for the day, they're still thinking about it, right? Did I do the right thing? Did I wire that up right? You may not know how to troubleshoot things like right off the bat. You may not know exactly where to go, right? Oh, the motor's humming. I don't know that the capacitor is the first thing I need to check. But you know how to clean a coil, right? You know that there's coil cleaner, there's a water hose, and you know how to clean it. So start with that. That's what you need to be doing. So when you go to that employer, you go, hey, I'd really like to start as a maintenance tech or an installer. I'd be willing to do both. And, don't expect to make $20 an hour, $30 an hour right off the bat. I'm hiring people for around 15, and that's okay. I let them know, hey, spend a year with me, spend 2 years with me. I promise if you're willing to, go through the couple years to learn what you need and get the experience, and then you're well-rounded, I'll pay you what you're worth. But I'm not going to pay you to just mess things up. And that's what you're going to be doing when you first start. Now, you definitely don't want to be with a company that wants you to be a little, I call it a sales boy. It's somebody that all they're trying to push them to do is sell, sell, sell. You're going to get a bad reputation. And remember, your reputation is worth more than, the money that you could make. Also, just the thing I just thought of is going to your local chamber of commerce, asking them, hey, who's the heat and air company that's local, that is, on the Chamber of Commerce or as part of the Chamber of Commerce, and then you can find that name. Also, who's voted Heating and Air Company of the Year? That's another thing. Look for that company. They were voted Heating and Cooling Company of the Year. They must be good. Maybe they're not, but hopefully they are. Also, know that you don't have to just work for a heating and cooling company. You can work for a distributor. You can work for a manufacturer. Distributors need good help. They need territorial managers, someone who can drive around to the heating and cooling companies, their dealers, and offer them support, whether it's helping them with financing, price books, warranty claims, helping them to understand what they should price their equipment at, or what equipment they should offer, or how it goes together and it's compatible. They need somebody to be at the front counter to answer the phone, to order the part, to help with the claim. They need somebody to drive the trucks. They need somebody in the warehouse to stock everything, to unload, to load, all that. So you can work for a distributor. Manufacturers need somebody to answer the phone that's good at tech support, good at helping the customer. Need somebody in the R&D, to be able to do the research and development, maybe the marketing. I mean, there's so many different jobs that you could apply for. I actually work in the medical field now, and as a engineer. And had I not been a technician before, I would have never known anything about refrigeration. So now I build these things for the hospitals, and they're called surgical slush machines. So I have that opportunity. It's a wonderful opportunity. So it's just fantastic what this job can lead to. It can lead to great career opportunities. Look, I do YouTube now. I teach. Had I not spent more than 10 years in a service van, servicing more than 10,000 customers, right, years ago, then I would never be able to give you this information. So I was willing to I think I made $5 an hour when I first started. Every year I got a raise, which was $1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Look at that, 11. I mean, for years I made what you would think is, way below the pay that a technician should make. But I was learning and I was building a character through adversity. That's where you build your character, through struggling. And, it wasn't about the money. And, now I'm well taken care of, and now it's come full circle. So it's now it's still not about the money. It's about helping. It's about helping. And I promise you, if you keep another person first, right, and you just focus on helping, there'll be somebody to help you. I say all this to tell you that you need experience, right? Experience is the greatest teacher. And if without my experience, I wouldn't even be able to be on this other side of the camera speaking to you right now. Just because you learned how to throw a football doesn't mean you're an NFL player. Just because you learned just now how to throw a baseball doesn't mean you can go play as a major league baseball player, right? You got to practice. You got to get out there. You got to use your tools, and you build the skills. And then when you build the skills, you get the opportunity. And that's where you're going to really succeed. And I know you're going to do great things. I know you are, because I know it and I believe in you. Hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you learned something. If you did learn something, let me know what it was down in the comments. You want more experience? Go check out my videos, HVAC Tips for Technicians. That's the playlist with hundreds of videos of live experience as a technician to help you be a better technician. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe, smash that bell, ding, so you know what I'm doing. You've been watching HVAC Tips for Technicians. I'm Tad. This was Taddy Digest. And I'll keep you cool if you let me.